Okay, so we're here with Miss Sara Koshko. She's one of my very good friends. We've known each other for over a year now, and she's super sweet and super great. And she has a business called Boutique Vacations, and she's an amazing travel agent. And I just wanted to talk to you today, Sara, about like how did you get started in this? Did you feel like you were like a party planner all the time?
You know, I was kind of the party planner. I like to host a party. I like to have a party. I like to decorate. But that's not kind of how it started. It kind of started with my husband and I really like to travel, and we had been to a couple of really great places. We had taken a couple of really great cruises. And he was like, how do we do this more often? And we kind of got to thinking about it and decided that maybe if we were immersed in the business, that it would offer us the opportunity to travel more often. And that's really kind of how it started. It wasn't so much that somebody said this is a really great thing to do, but we decided that we wanted to travel, so how could we travel more?
And be cheaper, right?
Yeah, right. How could we do what we wanted to do even more? So I spoke to other travel agents. I called some of the local independent agents in my area, which at the time was in Wyoming, and said, you know, if I were going to think about this, what would I want to do? And I got varying opinions about how to do it. Do you work for yourself? Do you work for somebody else? I didn't want to work for somebody else. I wasn't a completely stay-home mom, but I was pretty close. And I didn't want to do a 9-to-5 kind of thing. And so I took some online classes and did a little research, took some more classes, some more training. And before I knew it, I had this little tiny business out of my home office. And that's kind of how it goes. And almost, it'll be 10 years next year that I have been doing this. We've been here in Columbia for just a little over 2 years. So again, I'm back to working out of my home. But before that, I had a brick and mortar.
Oh, wow.
So I had a business downtown where we lived, which was super fun. And this is the funnest thing I've ever done.
Really? So what are some of the challenges that you probably face, especially like with a brick and mortar and then having to close it to relocate and all that kind of stuff?
Right. So I would have to say the biggest challenge overall are people always say to me, well, why should I use you? Because really on the internet you can get anything that you want, and that is no joke. I mean, you can buy a small island if you want. If you have the money and the wherewithal, you can get anything off the internet. And I decided that I personally like customer service. I like to speak to somebody with a heartbeat. I like to be able to ask my questions to somebody who can say to me the answer instead of press go or no or one or something. I enjoy customer service, and so I decided when I did this that I wanted to be able to be a representative to somebody who didn't know this industry, who wasn't familiar with the Google box and all the things that are in it. So I get asked, why should I use you? And my answer to the question is generally because I'm going to be the girl that you can call when you're stranded someplace and one of those search engines online doesn't care. You know, or I have an emergency and this is what I need right now, and again, you're in the queue with 50 other people. I like customer service, so that's what I really try to tell people. You, of course, can book anything that you want. I'm willing to do that for you so that you can spend the time doing the things that you need to do. You need to do your own job. You need to get your kids to soccer. You need to go visit your mother in the hospital. All the things that you need to do shouldn't cause you more stress because you're trying to plan a vacation. A vacation should never be stressful.
Right.
It's going to be fun.
It's supposed to be fun.
It's supposed to be fun, and it should be fun from the get-go. I've had lots of families that come into my office and there's tears because, you know, they can't make up their mind and everything is overwhelming and there's 500 choices.
That's true.
So before you even got out of your living room, the fight is on.
Because like even online, like you don't know exactly where you're going or what's going to be there. You can choose something, but you're not sure like what you're actually choosing.
What are you actually getting? Is that picture a really true representation of what it really is? And by the time sometimes you've gone through 57 pages and you try to go back to the one that you really liked, it's gone. Where did it go? I can't remember the name of it. And those are the types of things people don't want to spend several hours out of their free time to do that. So it's what I do. So it's not free time to me. It's what I'm doing for you. So I have to say to people, if you want my service, then I want to give you the opportunity to not be frustrated, to not have the fight, to just tell me, here's my checklist of lovelies that I would like to have. What can I have out of this? And then give you some options that say, I could have that, because a lot of people think that vacation is so much more expensive than it really is sometimes. And that's just because I've got a couple of other indoors that maybe that you don't have. And I can put it together for you in a way that doesn't make your checkbook cry at you.
Yeah.
Which vacation should have a budget, because you kind of want this when maybe it just is this. And that's okay. But I don't want you to be disappointed because you thought that this was the only thing that you can have, and you can't. But we can do something that's so super and so great and so long lasting in your memory bank that eventually you'll want to do it again.
Yeah, that's cool to have those options, because I know a lot of people, like you said, we're just regular people out here making a day to day, and we can't just spend like $5,000 and $6,000 on a vacation. We need to make sure that we're getting the most out of the money that we do have.
That you do have. And they were hard-earned dollars. And so I want to always be really respectful of what you say your budget is, because this is what it is. It's just like going to the grocery store or buying a car. I can't buy a $50,000 car. I can buy this car. I can't have $900 worth of groceries in my basket. I can have this much. Everything has a budget on it, and a vacation is the same way. It shouldn't make you feel broke, and it shouldn't make you have remorse.
Right.
I mean,
you want to feel good after.
You want to feel good, right? And
not like, oh my God, I can't do anything for 3 months because I just went on vacation.
On vacation, and then there's that guilt that it was some sort of awful, guilty, secret pleasure that you had, and it isn't. And so my job is to make sure that you have something lovely and wonderful that you feel good about when you go, and even feel better about when you come home.
That's awesome. So you said when you started out, you were mostly a stay-at-home mom, but working some. What challenges you face as a mom and as a wife, and how did you organize your time to make sure that Thomas got what he needed and the boys got what they needed?
I had to. I didn't do it at first. It was kind of a lesson learned. Because I was in my house all the time, I just found myself in my office later than I should have been. And I finally had to set parameters inside my own home. If the workday ended at 5 o'clock, then I just had to turn off my phone, I had to shut down my computer, and I had to walk away. Even though it would have been easy for me to sit in there till 8 o'clock at night, because I didn't have to go anywhere. So I had to treat it as a business that I was going to. I got up, I got ready, I got my boys off to school, and then I went to my office. And when it was time to be done, I had to say my time is done, because everybody else leaves their work and I need to too. But in the beginning I didn't do that, and it caused, I can't say it caused a problem, but I kind of got the heavy sigh, like, oh, I'm going to go back in there again.
Yeah.
Can't you just leave that alone, or when is it enough type of thing? So I recognized after several months that I was cheating my family, and the whole reason a lot of times that you have a home business in your home is to be more with your family. So I had to make myself set office hours. I had to give myself permission to, if something was going on, I could shut down my own business and put my phone on answering machine, and I could walk out the door. It was all going to be okay. I just had to give myself permission to know it was just going to be okay. And then I had to ask my family to respect the fact that I had a business in my home, and that they couldn't just come screaming in there, where's my socks, and where are my shoes, and I'm on the phone, and because I'm typing, so I have my headset on, or I'm typing, I'm talking, and I've got the, what's it called when the speakerphone, and then they're screaming at me, where's the this, or they're fighting. So we had to have a couple of family meetings that said, here's the deal, I am working, and you guys have to respect this too, and you're going to have to figure it out. If I wasn't here, if I were away, you wouldn't be doing this to me. So just pretend kind of like I'm not here. Unless it's really an emergency and something is broken or bleeding, don't come here to me. And my kids were old enough at the time, so it wasn't like I had little tiny ones.
Okay.
I would have to say that if you had little tiny ones, some of the things that you should do is be, willing to have somebody come in your house and give you that 3 or 4 hour break so that you can run your business other than just their nap time. Or get them into some kind of play group so that they are physically out so that you can do that. And that's not being a poor parent. That's being a smart businesswoman. You can't do it all.
Right.
And as women, I think that we oftentimes are convinced that either we can or we should be doing it all.
Or you have no choice but to do it all sometimes. That's what you think.
That's what you think. But it's all right to say, I can't do that. And I think, too, it's all right to say no.
And I think we have a hard time saying no. Like, there's a guiltiness about saying no. And I don't know, and one of the reasons for this is so that we can understand, like, everybody, you have to put up those boundaries and be able to not feel bad about saying, hey, like, I would love to help you, but I can't right now.
Right.
Or I would love to do this for you, but I can't right now. Because you set your priorities in life. So that is...
It's all right to say no.
Thing.
It's not always easy, and it isn't always the answer that you want to give. Because I think that we want to always say yes. Yes, I can do that. Yes, I can help you. Yes, I can be there. Yes, I'll drive. Yes, yes, yes. But it is really okay to say no. And every once in a while, when you recognize that, especially as a working mom, working woman, when you say no, it's almost like this relief comes like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, thank God
I don't even have to do that. Because I would have if I had to.
I totally would have done it.
Totally would have.
Thank goodness you
I
accepted
didn't even
that.
have to, right? So I think when you are, you're running your business and you are setting your goals for whatever that is, is it something where you have to leave your house because you are doing home parties? Or is it something where you have to be, maybe I have a friend who does notes for doctors. I mean, she has to turn her headset on and tune everything else out because what she's doing is very important.
Yeah.
And so it is okay to set those parameters of this is my work time and I can't do something else, because if you were physically walking away and going to work, that's exactly what you would be doing. But it also, as a business owner, gives us a lot of free time, because we can juggle those things, because we can invite other women and other people into our lives and do those other things. I have been a proponent for the longest time. I was a very, very young single mom, and I've been an advocate of women for women, women to empower women, whatever that is. Do you want to go back to school? Do you just want to be a stay-at-home mom? And how do you do that? How do you quit your job and figure out a new budget? And how do you do those things? So I am totally in tune with the women for women and how can we help each other. And in today's society where everything seems so negative and everything is so hard and can be so stressful, and all you're looking for is a little kindness, which can go a really long way.
Just someone to be like, you can do it.
You got this. Like, it is like, what do you need me to do? What you need business cards. I can help you design a business card. You need to hand out flyers. I can help you put them in the mailbox. What are those things that as women we can help other women do? Because you don't have to do this alone. Right. You might be a single mom. You might be just a single woman. But just because you're going to start something new, maybe that you are excited about, doesn't mean you have to do it alone.
Right. And I think sometimes we feel like, and I know I'm guilty of that too, feeling like I can't lean on anybody for help because and probably this is a lot of women, because I want you to do it when I want you to do it, not when you feel like you can do it.
Right.
And I know that that's one of my biggest issues in asking for help. Sometimes it's just like, man, like if I ask for help and I'm like, can you do this like today? And you do it in 3 days, like I'm already frustrated about it. I should have did it myself. And I think like it's so hard to ask for help, not only because of pride sometimes, but because of that control factor. Like you want to have that control, and I think we don't know how to like just let it go.
Yeah, let that go. And I think that that's really hard. That our agendas are not everybody else's agenda. And I have learned that with my husband, who I adore. But he is a very, very high, he's a high A personality. Like the train, he is on the train and it is moving, man. And he has left the station and you didn't even get your bags packed, right? And so he's gone. Now he's going to circle back around a couple times for me before I'm ready to get on. But I have tried that. I don't even try to catch his train. I just wait for it to circle back around again because I am not on that agenda. I am not that girl. Completely black and white. I'm a giant shade of gray.
Right.
Like I'm all this. Like it's all good. And he's fine. And he's like this. So I have learned that his agenda is totally not mine. And that he'll circle around and get me. But he has to go because he can't sit still here in this moment any longer. So I think when we are asking for help, I think we have to recognize that maybe it's not going to be when we wanted it.
Right.
Sometimes it's not exactly how we wanted it. Sort of like somebody that folds your laundry. You appreciate the fact that it's folded, but you know that you're going to go back behind them and do it over. Don't do that. Don't do it. Take it. It's folded. Put it away. It's going to get dirty again, and you can do it the next time. But learn how to time manage, you know, and I think that as working women, there's so much time management. So if you are truly going to ask for that help, take the help for how it is, be grateful,
right,
and then let it go, and then move on. And if it's truly a task that you just can't, then don't offer that up, you know, just kind of keep it to yourself. But I know that when I started the business and I went down to do the brick and mortar and it was this huge big thing, you know, but I had people who helped me come paint and I had people, you know, and I'm like, oh, okay. All right. And I have a little bit of OCD and I recognize that in myself. And so I just have to walk away because somebody's doing it and they are probably doing it from the best place in their hearts. And that's the best gift that you can get is somebody that's truly giving because how they feel about you.
Right.
And those are the gifts that I want to be reminded of because in the end I'm going to remember that you came and helped me, not necessarily what you did for me,
right,
but that you came.
Right.
So I think that we need to let go, breathe deep, you know, and be in this moment and to appreciate, you know, if you are thinking about starting a business, if you are thinking about stepping out, breathe deep, because the worst thing that can happen is that you don't take that step. And that's the worst thing that you can do is not just take the step. And if you stumble along the way, a stumble is all right. And if it doesn't work out the way that you thought that it was going to, maybe this new way is going to be even better. You didn't even realize that it's going to be that thing. You know, my business, I had these really kind of lofty dreams that I was going to send all these people around the world and they were going to be these amazing vacations. And I found myself doing honeymoons, and that was my I fell into it. I didn't have the client base where I lived to send people to Africa and to India. That checkbook didn't live where I was living. But I had these super great young couples that were getting married, and they wanted a honeymoon. That was so perfect and so special. And so I fell into honeymoons. And the coolest part about that is you really only get one first honeymoon.
Right.
One first one. No, you can have a second one, you can have a different one, but you really only get one first one on the very first go, right? And so I want that to be special. I want it to be magical. I want it to be every single thing that you could possibly want it to be. And so it wasn't where my dream was. You know, I wanted to do these great big trips. And so I have now turned in kind of to the honeymoon queen, which I totally love. And, you know, and then the super great thing about it is that you are young and sparkly and you love this. And so you tell your girlfriend who's going to get married and so on and so on and so on and so on. And I didn't have to do a lot of advertising for that part of my business because it just was out there.
Yeah,
but it wasn't where I saw myself. So I think that we owe it to ourselves to be open to what we want to do. Whatever that passion is, you know, embrace that, but it might just look a little different as you explore it. And I think that that's a delight, you know?
Yeah.
because maybe I thought I was just going to be a yoga instructor, but now I do meditation for, it's more than just yoga, which I love, but it's so much more than that, those are the parts that are the serendipitous kinds of things.
Right, because you never know what's in your path, like what's in alignment. So you might start out here, like you wanted to do exotic vacations, but your niche is honeymoons. Like you're great at that. You're awesome.
I love it. I love to go because they got a new sparkly thing, and it's all hearts and flowers swinging around their heads, and oh my gosh, and they're so in love.
Life is all great.
And their boyfriends are super, and they're the best boyfriend ever, and so I like all of that, and I like that it's fresh and that it's real, and I like the other parts of my business, but that's really what I fell into, not even knowing it.
That's amazing. So who, other than Thomas and the boys, like your biggest supporters, and not just mainly like financially, like who do you reach out to when it's like, man, like this is not going how I wanted to go, or somebody may have had a terrible time and they're upset, and you need that comfort to know, like, hey, it's okay. It's just one thing. It's just that person for you.
Yeah. I have tried and I have been in several different venues with that. I have found that if it's really something grouchy, I go to a really great friend of mine who works in Great Falls, Montana, and she is a track legend because she gets it and she understands the frustrating part about it, because she has clients that have probably done this too for whatever reason. And so she kind of gets that frustration and she can kind of pull me off that ledge when I'm out there. If my feelings are hurt because somebody's been mean or grouchy to me, and it's a feeling thing. I have a really great group of girlfriends in Wyoming still that we're kind of in this group text, and I can send a little something, and invariably somebody will call me and say, okay, what happened? And then I'm crying. But I'm looking for that soft shoulder, when those happen. What I try not to do is share that with people who probably aren't very intimate with me, only because you never know who they're going to talk to. And I made that mistake a couple times, just kind of venting and not knowing that was going to go further than where it was. So I try to be cautious, with sharing that, because everybody needs to vent. Everybody needs to let it go. And I'm an emotional crier. When I'm angry, I cry. And when I'm sad, I'm crying. And when you're crying, I'm crying.
We just cry.
I'm just a crier. So I have to be really careful about who I go to, because I did make that mistake, and then there were other feelings that were hurt, and I needed to apologize. And so I learned that pretty quick, that you need to be completely confident in where you're going, that what you're saying isn't going to be shared, because you are just looking for a release. You are just looking for. I will tell you, I worked, like 10 hours on this vacation, like it was lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of man hours, and tried to give them everything that they wanted, and then got it to them, and the guy's like, oh, we went ahead and we just booked that.
So, with this guy that booked his vacation through somewhere else after you worked so hard on it, after that situation, like who was it that, or who are the people that you go to in those kind of?
Well, I kind of have them separated into groups. If it's really something that's really challenging with the client and it's frustrating and I'm grouchy and angry because they've made me grouchy and angry and they're grouchy and angry, I have a really good friend who has her own business in Great Falls, Montana, and I will call her and say, here's my situation. And she can usually talk me off the ledge because I'm out there hanging on by a fingertip. This one, a tiny one, and just barely. And she can usually pull me in and give me kind of that wise counsel, and tell me how maybe that she has worked through a client situation that maybe is not exactly the same, but for all intents and purposes, really is. And so she's that girl. Now, if I've had something and a client has really hurt my feelings and I'm disappointed, I have a really great group of girlfriends still in Wyoming. We're in a group chat, and usually I can send a note with very teary faces, and I get a phone call, and then somebody is going to be on my team, because what I'm looking for is something soft and comforting. My feelings are hurt, and I need a little bit of love. What I don't really do is share any of that with my husband, because he just wants to fix it, and there's really nothing for him to do. And you know, as a man, he thinks that's his job is to go and fix that. But I did learn a hard lesson, kind of in who I share with and who I didn't. I made some mistakes in the very beginning, living in a small town, and just sharing some frustrations, and those got out and got back, and then I had to do some damage control. And it wasn't completely negative, but it wasn't completely positive.
Right.
And so I have learned how to counsel myself on where I can go with the frustration. I mean, it's all really good and you can share the good times, but really and truly when we have those frustrating moments, and we do have them.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're like right in a row, and sometimes they're few and far between, but we all need to be able to talk about them, and we all need to kind of be able to get that off of our shoulders or our chests. And so, you know, if it's really a professional thing and I need to fix it, but I really, in my mental state, can't. Need a little help off the ledge. I call somebody in the same profession, and if it's just somebody that I'm just hurt and my feelings are hurt, I just need you to love me up a little bit and be in my team. You know, because we all know we have those girlfriends that, you know, if you've got, especially like when you had a boyfriend and he wasn't like super great, she'd be like, okay, do you want me to be mad at you or them or on your team,
Right.
not on your team?
What do you need me to do?
Like, do you want me to tell you you were wrong?
He's a jerk, or you're a jerk, or
Yeah.
you should fix it. What do we need to do?
Yeah, what do you need to do? So those are those times when you really go to those safe places, you know, because maybe you don't think you're so wrong, but maybe kind of you are. And you really
that third party
kind of helps with that. But whoever you go to, you know, make sure that you know that there's that confidant, that you are looking for, you need some compassion, you need a little bit of empathy, and then you need to be told, and get back on the horse, you know, okay. And that's kind of what you need to do. But share those moments, you know, with somebody who can give you the counsel really and truly. And you know, you're going to know who you're looking for, and what you're looking for. But also, you know, remember that maybe you need to take that note, because just because you had a grouchy moment with a client doesn't always mean that they had a grouchy moment. And they might come back. Like what you perceived as not good, maybe they didn't, and it's all on you. So, you know, my file folders are full of sticky notes. You know, they don't like this! Exclamation point! Da, 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 da. Like, noted. Or they only want this, types of things. So make your job easier for the clients, you know, that you have. You know, if it's, I don't know, maybe it's makeup and they really want this blue, but blue is a no-go for them, and you know it, and they shouldn't have it. So how do you coach them out of that type of thing? But make those notes. So make it so your life is easier, so you don't have that. Again. Kind of thing. And then I would have to say that a lot of times you're going to get clients, regardless of your business, that, you know, they kind of started out and things were kind of rolling along, and then they kind of fell off. I keep a pending file of people who make phone calls to me, and we talked about a few things that wasn't really serious, and then I just kind of filed that away. And just about every 3 or 4 weeks, I go through that file and I reach out to them one more time. Hey, by the way, we chatted. Was there anything else I could do for you? Because sometimes their lives got really busy and they didn't mean to put you on the back burner.
Right.
But whatever they were thinking about doing just didn't fit into their budget or their time frame or their life at this moment. But I always try to give those people another go, you know, because you never really know somebody's circumstance, and not everybody wants to tell you the truth. Like maybe they're
right now I can't afford it.
Right. Or, so they'll come up with something else, and so I usually kind of keep that kind of going on, you know. And if they were like, you know, we're just not going to do anything, I'm like, hey, that's really great. Call me, let me know when you want to. And that kind of file just kind of rotates, you know, for me all the time, because people call and make inquiries about, I really want to go to Jamaica. Okay, what do you want to do? Kind of thing. And then they're kind of hot, and then they're kind of drizzle off. So I give them one more go. So don't discount, you know, discount those first people that you're touching base with, you know, if you're doing whatever you're doing. Give them another shot, because you never know what that client is going to do or who they might have talked to or whatever. Because in the beginning, okay, you were done with me, then I was done with you. And that's not good because they're like, oh, I wish you would have called because I would have done something. You're like, oh, shoot, yeah, I wish I would have called too because I think it could have been awesome. So remember that everybody's circumstance is a little bit different, than your own. And the other thing too is remember that their checkbook is not yours. Mm-hmm. I have made some assumptions that have not always turned out to be true, and that is not a good thing. Just because you think they can't afford it doesn't mean that they can't, kind of thing. So maybe that what I'm considering, $3,000 for that honeymoon, and then that groom calls me up on the side and says, I got $6,000, and I looked at that and thought there is no possible way. I would have shorted myself and them, so never think that somebody doesn't have the checkbook. I just always now assume that they do, and I start big and can come little.
Start out throwing everything.
Yeah.
Tell me what you don't know, what you can do.
Yeah. How many outfits? You wanted 10 outfits? Because I think that you want 10 Zia, because I do.
You should get 10.
You need 10 Zia outfits.
Yeah, you need all 10 Zia outfits. All the pants.
All the pants. Because you tell me you could only have 6.
Oh,
well, that's super great because I thought maybe you could only have 2. So there's, so don't make those assumptions based on what you think, that they can have until they tell you. And you will develop, your email blasts and your things that you're going to do for your businesses. You're going to develop those based on that repetition and on that type of thing. And give yourself a break if you miss, and don't stop swinging. Yeah. This business, running a business, it's not a home run every day. It'd be super great. If everybody that walked in my door wanted a $10,000 vacation, I would be like, oh, yes. But it's not. But it is. It's 10 $5,000 vacations, or it's $22,000 vacations, and that's all good.
Yeah.
The home run is awesome when it happens. But I'll take a base hit every time, right?
We gotta fail forward, right?
Right, you gotta
accept those things
you have to just accept those, and it's all good. And maybe they didn't, but they, called somebody who said something, and they called you, and it was that home run. And those are the really big bonus moments, as far as I'm concerned. And run your business the way that you want to run your business. Don't let somebody else tell you that it can't be done that way. Don't let somebody else say, well, if it was me, I was going to do it this way, or really. If you want to run your business the way you want to run it. Mm-hmm.
Figure out your own way.
Figure out your own path and make it work for you. And because there are going to be clients that are going to want what you do, the way that you do it. They don't want what this is over here or this is over here. They want what you have. And that's a gift. And you should embrace that and be proud of what you're starting, and be brave and be brilliant at it, because you are.
That's awesome. Well, thank you. You can find Sara at boutiquevacations.net. Look her up. She will get you the vacation of your dreams on whatever budget you have.
Absolutely. Or big. Home run or first base. Yes. We will get you there. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate it, baby.
Now we got everything.
Perfect.